ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति। The topic: pointers to Brahman.
To Brahman, the true nature of God. His state of being is beyond terrestrial knowledge. Brahman is transcendental. Your body, mind, and intellect cannot reach the transcendental. Even in the terrestrial realm, the subtler themes are rather difficult to describe. Grosser experiences are relatively easy to communicate. If you have seen the Taj Mahal or the Eiffel Tower, you're able to express its beauty and grandeur through words. But to communicate feelings and emotions of the mind, you do not find adequate words. And when it comes to expressing thoughts and ideas, language falters, becomes inadequate. Hence, signs and symbols are used to convey scientific and mathematical concepts. Thus, the subtler the theme, the greater the difficulty in expression. Brahman, being far beyond the subtlest terrestrial themes, defies expression. It is not possible to capture God in words, yet the great sages of yore have given humanity several pointers indicating Brahman, the supreme God. These are not definitions, but they help set a clear direction for the intellect to pursue and grasp the transcendental being. Vedanta serves as a pointer indicating God. Terrestrial knowledge, however subtle, cannot take you directly to the transcendental reality. God is infinite. Finite efforts cannot achieve the infinite. Nevertheless, one cannot reach God without this knowledge. Knowledge can take you only up to the subtlest terrestrial experience. Thereafter, you will have to experience the reality subjectively. The moon branch analogy aptly illustrates this truth. It is known in Sanskrit as Chandra Shaka Nyaya. The analogy explains how the moon can be pointed out with the help of a branch of a tree. At times, you see the crescent moon in the bright sunlit sky. It appears no more than an arc of a circle. In the wide expanse of the sky, you find it difficult to point it out to another person. He is unable to spot the arc in the glare of sunlight. Besides, there is nothing else in the sky with reference to which you may point it out. The analogy gives a practical way of doing it. You first point to a particular tree in the meadow, then to its trunk, branch, and to the tip of the branch. Let him follow the line of vision up to the tip. Thereafter, ask him to gaze at the sky far beyond the tip of the branch. The moon suddenly appears to him. The unknown moon is now known. You will appreciate that none of these aids has anything to do with the moon. The tree, trunk, branch, or tip is not the moon. The moon is far beyond them all. Yet, without these pointers, he could not have located the moon. These are essential aids to find it. But if he holds on to these aids and not move beyond them, he will not succeed in locating the moon. So it is with realization of your Supreme Self. Vedanta provides all the knowledge necessary to reach your Godhead. Its philosophy is meticulous. It takes you from your present state to the point of divinity, short of self-realization. Vedanta can reach you to that point and not beyond. You ought not to get involved in the knowledge and hang on to it, which would mean fixing your attention on the branch and not going beyond it. Hence, make good use of the knowledge to reach the ultimate.
Now, pointers to Brahman. What he is saying in this topic is, what is the difficulty that the Shastras are facing to teach us about Brahman? What is the difficulty that they are facing? It's not the difficulty they are facing. What is the recipient's limitations? They don't have a problem. To say that Shastras have a difficulty is absolutely wrong. But still I'm saying Shastras have a difficulty. Now we are happy to listen to that, isn't it? So they also have some difficulty. They don't have a difficulty. Shastras don't have a difficulty actually. We are only going to see what is the difficulty that we have to receive what they are saying. If you understand that, maybe we'll get an understanding of what he is talking as pointers to Brahma. Are you able to follow? What is the difficulty? The first difficulty is, if you have to reveal something, you need something else to compare and say this is it. Without that, you can never say that. You need an opposite at least. You need at least an opposite to say, in comparison to that, this is Brahman. They will follow? First technical issue they have. Sorry, we have. Yeah, at least we should have the humility to say we have. But to satisfy our ego, I keep saying they have, they have. Yeah. Shankar, to satisfy our ego, we think, okay, we both are on the equal plane. We also have a difficulty, they also have a difficulty. This is absolute rubbish. They don't have any difficulty. So first technical issue. What is the first technical issue that we have? For us to understand anything, we need an opposite to compare and contrast to understand something. For without the opposite, we can never understand anything. When it comes to Brahman, Advayam. When it comes to Brahman, Advayam, there is no second thing you can compare and say, this is Brahman. That is why the Chandrashaka Nyaya and all comes in. Why this moon branch analogy and all comes in is because there is no way that we are able to show this is Brahman, because we don't have anything to compare it. Because if you don't have anything to compare, you can never understand what they are saying. Why? Because any understanding happens according to what you know already. Anything that is told to you, with what filter you can understand. Are you able to follow? Yeah, thesis and God on the konja technical we will discuss for a while and then we will go back to our stories. Yeah. Last week class was very good, sir, full of stories. Yeah. Last week class was very good because it was full of stories. Nachiketa stories came, Shvetaketa story came, Janaka story came. It was so good. In the starting itself is not very appealing today. Yeah. Maybe I'm in a bad mood today. Yeah? Maybe I'm not in a good mood. Huh? You able to follow? For you to understand Brahman, what is it that you can compare, contrast, or you can say this is the opposite of it? You don't have any such marker. You don't have any indicator at all. Even the shoka of the world, even the depression of the world, suffering and all that, Brahman is Ananda also is not even there is no comparison that you have. Why? Because of the limitations of the thing. What is the limitation of the thinking? At any given point of time, for you to understand anything, you can only understand in relation to what? What you know already. Are you able to follow? That's why it is very difficult to keep that aside and listen and follow. It's not easy. A Shishya will be able to do it, and we don't expect Shishyas to come in tens and hundreds along. One or two in a lifetime, you get one or two itself is difficult. Why? Anything that is told to you, you will compare it only with what you know already, because you don't have anything else. Or it has to be an image, something, an opposite. He is a very extremely rich person. That extremely rich person is understood only in comparison to the rest who are poor. If there is no poor person in comparison, you can never say. So the poor person is the second thing that is needed to reveal the richest person. So in order to reveal the richest person, you need a poor person. In order to understand this fellow is in poverty, suffering, you need the rich person. The first thing that we understand is Brahman. There is no second thing to reveal Brahman. Since there is no second thing to reveal Brahman, they give only pointers to Brahman. I'm discussing the topic, pointers to Brahman. First technical issue. Are you okay with this till now? The second issue. Yeah. Yeah, I have so many things to say. That we know, sir, for everything you have so many things to say. Yeah. The second issue is what? The word Brahman and what Brahman is absolutely unconnected. The second problem. There is the word Brahman and there is actually Brahman. Now, what the word reveals is absolutely unconnected to what Brahman is. Example, the word love is not conveyed when you say, I love you. Correct? What is not conveyed? The word love is conveyed. What is not conveyed in that statement, I love you? What is not conveyed? What is not conveyed in that statement, I love you? Shankar, I don't love you. Huh? Yeah. Father, thank I don't. Yeah. Who wants to? In the statement, I love you, what is not conveyed? Love is not conveyed. And the problem is everybody believes love is conveyed. When we say love is not conveyed, what is not conveyed? The intensity is not conveyed. The intention is not conveyed. The willing to serve and sacrifice is not conveyed. In that word, I love you, what is not conveyed? In fact, what are you trying to say when you say, I love you? Huh? I will torture you. You don't say that, no? Yeah. Instead of saying I torture you, I say, yeah, nowadays when they say I love you, it means I'm going to torture you. Yeah. That's not what you are meaning. What do you mean when I say I love you? Except love, everything is conveyed by the word love. Even in a worldly transactional level, we have this difficulty. How much more difficult it is to talk about Brahman. That's the second point. How much more difficulty it is to talk about Brahman. Why? Because what the words reveal and what it is absolutely unconnected, not even 1% connection. What Brahman is different from what the word Brahman is. The second. The third, words reveal something conditionally. Words cannot reveal anything unconditional. That's the third issue. You remember this, you will understand what this pointers to Brahman. Words cannot reveal anything unconditional. Words can reveal only that which is conditional. Unconditional means silence. Unconditional means ya pashyati. Whoever sees it, sees it. For words cannot reveal anything unconditional. Words cannot convey anything that is unlimited. Words can convey only that which is limited. Are you able to follow? What is it the word can reveal? A word can reveal only guna, kriya, jati, sambandha, rudi. Words can convey only these. I'll explain all that. Yeah, pointers to Brahman or Modi, we can discuss all this. Words can convey, what words can convey? Words can convey only under conditions. Words cannot reveal the limitless. Just as the mother tells the child, I love you. The child turns back and says, no, you don't. Why? Because if you love me, you will give me what I want to know. Correct? The mother tells the child, I love you. The child turns back and says, no, you are lying. You don't love. Why? Because if you love me, you will give me what I want to know. Is that love? Mother just smiles and walks away because one day the child will grow and understand what love is. And when the child will understand, only when it becomes a grandmother. Yeah, only when it becomes a till the time it cannot understand. Why? Because it believes love means love, na, give me what I want. You can't say I love you and still not give. How does that work? Because that cannot be understood at all. Correct? Are you able to follow? So words reveal only limited. Even in relative level, words cannot communicate the subtler things. Forget about Brahman. And here we are talking about Sukshma Tat Sukshmataram, subtler than the subtlest. Here we are discussing that which is subtler than the subtlest. Even at worldly level, I'm saying, you understand me, no? Yes. Understanding doesn't mean you agree to what the other person says, correct? Okay, if you are on the receiving end, you will not like to be in that position. If you say, I understand you means do what I want, correct? No, I understand you, but I do what I want to do. Now you will understand it as, oh, this person doesn't understand me. Correct? Words have this inherent difficulty. Now, what words can reveal? If you understand what words can reveal, you can understand why pointers only are used to Brahman. What is it that the words can reveal? Words can reveal something that has a guna property. Words can reveal only that which has a guna property. Words can reveal that which has a kriya function. Words can reveal that which has a jati, the species. Jati means species. Universal group. Jati means universal group. We don't call it as universal group, we call it as species. Word can reveal guna, kriya, jati. Fourth thing the word can reveal is the relationship, sambandha. The fifth one is how well or how not well it is known. Words can reveal that. Yeah. Rajinikanth, it's known, correct? Rajinikanth, known. Aravindan Ramakrishnan. Okay. Half the people here will ask, who is that person, sir? Yeah. No, words reveal. So, what does the words reveal? The condition for words to reveal something. Are you able to follow? Words can reveal that which is dual by nature. Words cannot reveal that which is beyond duality. That's why in love, where oneness is what you are trying to convey in love, that love doesn't get understood at all, conveyed at all. Why? Because you can't understand oneness. You can't understand oneness. Why? Because all understanding happens in the medium of duality alone. That's why he says pairs of opposites. Pairs of opposites. It means lot of effort is required to break this pattern and lift yourself to the next level. Lot of effort is required to break yourself from this pattern of dualistic mode of thinking to what level of thinking? Chandrashaka Nyaya. From the dualistic mode, you raise yourself to Chandrashaka Nyaya. That's why the title pointers to Brahman. That's why the Upanishads, Vedanta always is indicative definitions of Brahman, God. Pointers to God. Indicative definitions of God. If you define it, it is revealed. There is the revealer and then there is revealed. Words have this duality, the revealer and that which it is revealed. In Tattvamasi, there is no revealer and the revealed. How that can be communicated? Are you able to follow? Venkatachalam. See, there is the revealer and then there is the revealed. Now, in Tattvamasi, which is what we are talking about, where the distinction between the revealer and revealed itself doesn't exist, how any word can communicate that? And yet, the scriptures go on talking about it. The scriptures go on talking about it. Why they do that? It gives you some vague glimpse. Not even there is no connection between what glimpses you get versus Brahman. There's absolutely no connection between the two. Where it becomes meaningful is it helps you to break the mechanical pattern of thinking. What is the mechanical pattern of thinking? Dualistic mode. The dualistic mode. And the problem of educating a person is this. This is the paradox of education. At any point of time, you understand only according to what you know, and yet you can know more. The paradox of education is that. Are you able to follow? At any given point of time, you can know only what you know. At the same time, you can know more also. In Vedanta, what are we trying? The knowing more. Break certain patterns so that you can know more. When we say you can know more, not 5 more textbooks, not 5 more new stories, not 5 more new explanations. It's not all that. What is that knowing? That knowing that which is repeated again and again and again. How can you know more? It has to be repeated again and again and again. That's where manana comes. You can know more only through manana. Ravana will give you the matter. Through Shravana, you cannot know more. By manana only you can know that extra. It means what? It has to be repeated. It has to be repeated again and again and again. It has to be repeated. And they repeat it again and again and again. And we think maybe they don't have anything else to say. That's why they are going on repeating it again and again. And what I am trying there. These classes are such a big headache, I tell you. Every class ஒரு நியூ ரிலீஸ் கொடுக்க வேண்டியது இல்லையா? எவ்ரி கிளாஸ் யூ ஹேவ் டு டூ சம் நியூ ரிலீஸ். அப்போதான் வா சார், வேர் வில் ஐ கோ ஃபார் நியூ ரிலீஸ் எவ்ரி வீக்? And yet pointers to Brahman. What is pointers to Brahman? You have an inherent limitation, and there is the method they use to break your inherent limitation. Not because they cannot convey, you are not yet ready to receive it. So what they do first, break that pattern. What they do, break that pattern. Are you able to follow? For Brahman is free from all these five. Brahman is free from guna, kriya, jati, sambandha, rudi. Brahman is free from all these five. When anything that is free from all these five cannot be communicated by words, and yet words only can be used. Are you able to follow? From this, what do we understand? We are dependent on words, and yet you never have the satisfaction of having said through the words. We are dependent on words. That's why nowadays they say body language. You shake hands so that the other fellow's fingers get crushed. Your affection is conveyed. Body language. The problem, there is an inherent problem of communication. These masters don't have that inherent problem of communication, because you have a problem of communication because there's an agenda you have. There's an agenda, something you want through the communication all the time. These people don't have no agenda like that. They just want to state the plain fact. The fact that they are just stating the plain fact makes them so free that they are able to go so elaborate. Why we are not able to go elaborate is because we all have an agenda. When we want to communicate, we really don't want to communicate it. In fact, we want to communicate our agenda through communication. We are using communication for what? I have an agenda, and my agenda is communicated, correct? These masters don't have any agenda. Therefore, they are just stating a plain fact. Since they are stating a plain fact, they're able to go so deep. Having no agenda and communicating is called selflessness. It is the selfless. Are you able to follow? There is no personal agenda. There is no, and in all our communication, there is a personal agenda. We want to achieve something. Either I want to say come with me, or I want to say leave me alone. There is an agenda. Are you able to follow? Either I want wealth to say come to me, or I want wealth to go away. Either I want the person to come with me, or I want the person just to leave me. Words get very narrow. Words become too narrow, too short. It becomes too. The subtlety of the words is not there. That's why the two examples that he's giving is subtler the theme, greater the difficulty in expression. The first paragraph. So I just explained the first paragraph. Now we will go to the rest of the rest of the text. The first thing that I explained till now is subtler the theme, greater the difficulty in expression. Use a simple example, love. If you have real love, how much ever you express your love, you know that your love is so deep that it can never be expressed. You can write a poetry. Are you able to follow? You can write a poetry. You can draw a sketch. You can give away all your wealth. You can give away everything, and still you know what the depth of your love is not at all conveyed. If you really have that depth, otherwise, what will happen? You write a poetry on love, and you are exhausted after that because that's the depth of you. That's the depth of your love. You just say I love you, and you are tired after that because it's so shallow, so shallow. Words itself tire you because it's so shallow. When there is depth in it, endless reservoir, endless reservoir, endless reservoir of energy because there is depth, and words cannot hit that. Words cannot hit that depth. That's why the example that he's giving is subtler the themes, symbolisms have to be used. Symbolisms have to be used. And Brahman is the subtlest. Therefore, we can only use pointers. That is the first paragraph. Yes.
Words are the only modes of communication, and the same communication fails us at a certain point because of its own inherent limitations. So anything that is expressed, if it is gross, then is silence far more subtler than it will convey the subtlest also?
Yes. Can silence convey the subtlest? No. Silence cannot convey the subtlest Brahman. The question that he is asking is, can silence convey the subtlest? No. Silence cannot convey the subtlest. Why? Because again the non-dual is there. Silence in relation to the sound. The non-dual is still there. Are you able to follow? Even silence cannot convey. Silence is subtlest. Yes. Compared to the word, silence is subtlest. And most of the time, your silence is out of indifference, not out of subtlety. Yeah. Are you able to follow? Not out of subtlety. Indifferent. Just indifference. Are you able to follow? Silence means not paying attention to the other person. Hmm? See, somebody loves you, somebody fights with you, somebody doesn't pay attention to you at all. What will hurt you the most? What will hurt you the most? The pain? The fight will hurt you the most? What will hurt you the most? That's why when we really want to cause pain to somebody, we'll just turn indifferent. Because, and we relish that pain, not realizing that it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you with greater momentum. Are you able to follow? So our silence is not true silence. The depth of it. Are you able to follow the difference? Most of the time, what is the if you want to hurt somebody, what is the tool that you always use? Very childish, very, I can't even say childish it is. It is so sickening the tool that we all use. What is it? Just pretend as though that person doesn't exist at all. opposite of love, they say hatred. No. The opposite of love is indifference. Because even in hatred, there is a communication. There is a fight going on. You are happy if you love, you will, but then if you really want to cause pain, you can't cause pain by fighting. You can cause pain by turning indifferent. And people adopt this method. And that, how does it manifest? It will manifest as being silent. Are you able to follow? Block the person in social media, block the person in the from the phone directory. And you know that person is, and you know that person is wanting to communicate with you, but still you will not want to do it. Why? Because you want to cause pain. Are you able to see the difference? So silence is not, in the true sense, we do not know what silence is. Even though we talk about silence and all that, in the true sense, a contented mind will know what silence is. A discontented mind cannot know silence. Discontented mind can only know noise and fatigue that arises out of noise. It's only a contented mind that can be silent, peaceful. So this contentment is a preparatory qualification to realize Brahman. That's where when we did Atma Bodha, we said the first qualification of a student is contentment. First qualification of the student is contentment. Are you able to follow? Silence is contentment. Silence is contentment. Silence is peaceful. If you understand it like that, then you know it's only a preparation to know Brahman, but you cannot, and that silence is not Brahman. Are you able to follow? That is as far as understanding the first paragraph. And then he goes on to say, since it is beyond expression, what do we have to adopt? We adopt a method called Chandra. There are so many nyayas, so many methods of explaining. The method that is used is Chandrashaka Nyaya. Chandrashaka Nyaya, moon branch analogy. And we have seen the Chandrashaka Nyaya any number of times. Moon branch analogy, we have seen this. You want to point the moon on a cloudless sky, you have no reference point at all. And you have to use something that which is unconnected to the moon. What is it that you use unconnected to the moon? The meadow, the tree, the trunk, the branch, the twig, the leaves, and then you say, look between the two leaves. And you understand all this has got nothing to do with the moon, correct? No connection. All these pointers have no connection to the moon, and yet these pointers are useful in locating the moon. In that sense, we will be discussing some indicative pointers. What is the trunk? What is the meadow? What is the tree? What is the trunk? What is the branch? What is the twigs? What are the two leaves? What is that called? Nirguno, Nishkriyo, Nityo, Nirvikalpo. These are all that. These are all the indicative definitions of Brahman. So, the first thing that we understand here is why it is called pointers to Brahman. Subject matter being subtle, words cannot reveal it. One. Second, all the efforts that you make is finite. Finite efforts cannot achieve the infinite. Another important lesson that you have to understand. Finite efforts cannot take you to the infinite because efforts are limited, finite. Action has a limitation. And finite can never take you to the infinite. How do we say that? that which is a product of action diminishes. That's the law. That which is the product of action diminishes. It's a law. Therefore, finite efforts cannot take you to the infinite. Then what finite efforts can do? Then what finite efforts can do? Finite effort can only make you look at the meadow, look at the trunk, look at the branch, look at the twig, look at the leaves at the end of the twigs fluttering. Finite efforts can take you all that. Look between the two leaves. Now, what you got to leave?
The leaves.
Correct. You got to leave the leaves. Look between the two leaves. Now, you can't keep staring at the leaves. You have to leave the leaves and look beyond. That looking beyond is what it reveals. And what is the revelation? It's not the revelation, it is becoming. It doesn't reveal. Law of gravity reveals. Everything is relative, is revealed. Brahman doesn't get revealed. Brahman is becoming. As far as Brahman is concerned, it is Aikyam, oneness. As far as realization is concerned, it is oneness. It is not understanding, because the understander and that which he understands are different. And the understander can understand very many things also. If at all there is a word called understander, Therila. Anshu, is there a word like that? No, she is the English scholar, I think. No, I don't know. The understander is different from that which he understands. That understander can understand very many things. Of the very many things, the understander can understand. Brahman is one, na? No, it doesn't work like that. No. The drama of self-realization, what Isavasya Upanishad describes, even before the understander can experience Brahman, what happens? He is dissolved. The understander is dissolved. Now, who's there to understand when the understander itself is dissolved? If the dreamer is dissolved, the entire phenomena is dissolved. It's not that you have woken up from the dream and the dream world is still existing, correct? No, sir, maybe it is possible now. Then it's okay. Yeah. Then thesis on Godlam படிக்கூடாது. நாளைக்கு ஏதோ டாபிக்ஸ் எடுக்க சொல்லியிருக்கிறாங்க. அந்த டாபிக்ஸ் தான் படிக்கணும் இல்லையா? You have eyes, you have ears, you have a nose தான் படிச்சுக்கணும். Isn't it? And some topics, I don't know. அது பனிஷ்மெண்ட் யாருன்னா வெங்கட்டுக்கு தான். Anything new that I do, punishment goes to Venkat only. Why? Because he has to sit and listen everything. Yeah. Now Venkat is telling me, sir, in case நீங்க வரலன்னா பரவாயில்ல, he is telling me, because he has heard so much that அவரே நான் பார்த்துக்கிறேன்றாரு. அது வெங்கட் நீங்களே பார்த்துங்கோ. சொல்லும். That is why pointers are needed. Why? The duality of the knower and the known. The knower knowing Brahman is not possible. For knowing is an action, and action has a limitation. It is nothing but becoming. Oh, abdiya. Wait. It is not even becoming, as though you were not that once. The becoming implies what? You are not that once and you are going to become that now. So becoming indicates a transformation. That's the problem of the words. Becoming indicates a transformation. You can call it as transformation, you can call it as maturity, you can call it as growth, any word you can use. But all that means is what? Something else is happening. Therefore, we say, no. It's not even becoming. It's not even becoming. It is recognizing which you are already. Again, we go back to the starting point. இது வரைக்கும் கேட்டுட்டு after listening to up to this point, what is the next question that you will ask? If I am that already, I should know it now, no, sir. Okay, don't worry. We'll start from Bhajagovindam again. We'll start the classes from Bhajagovindam again. Bhajagovindam, Atma Bodha, ella mudichittu we will come back again. This is called Manana. We go over it again and again and again. Why we go over it again and again and again? Because that much of reflection has to be done. Why that much of reflection is essential? Because that much of confusion is there. That much of confusion is there. So that much of reflection is needed. I'm understanding, sir, but not able to. I understand. My problem is I'm not able to practice it, sir. Don't you ever make that statement, I have understood but not able to practice. If you are not able to practice, you have not understood. Full stop. Don't you ever say that I have understood but not able to practice. If you are not able to practice, it means you have not understood. It's like saying, I have understood stealing is wrong, sir, but I am not able to stop myself from stealing. Will you say that? No, will you say that? I have understood, sir, what stealing is wrong, bad. But every day I'm stealing. Practically, how do I do that? Practically, how do I do that? Practice la vanda. Go back to Manana. Keep stealing, earn the karmas, and simultaneously go back to understanding. Why? Because there is no such thing called practice, which is different from understanding. It is understanding that manifests itself in practice. Are you able to follow? Other people have this problem. I understand, sir, but how do I practice? I understand that it is poisonous, but I'm liking only the poison. No. Practically, what should I do? Drink some more extra poison. Sir, what else can you do? Drink some more extra poison because I understand that it is poison, but still I like it only. It means what? The practice is, if you are not able to practice, you have not understood. Therefore, the effort must go back to understanding, Manana. Because you can practice to that extent only you are convinced. Carefully follow. Practice will come only to the extent you are convinced. Conviction comes by Manana. You cannot practice that which you don't have a conviction. Able to follow? Practice will come only if you have a conviction. And how does conviction come? By Manana. That's why we harp on this reflection again and again and again. And what is reflection? Simply going over it again and again and again. That's all. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Million times you went through that for 7 years. Now you are able to say, what is 2 plus 2? Even if you are drunken state, if you ask 2 plus 2, you will say 4. Why? Because that many times you went over it again and again and again. Are you able to follow? Understanding is not conviction. Understanding means you have language la pesuradhunala you say you have understood. World is temporary, mithya. Since you know the English language, you are understanding it. If it is said in German language, you will not understand it. If it is said in Russian language, you will not understand it. So when you say, I understand, what is it that you understand? It's the language that you understand. The message is not understood. Understanding the language is different from understanding the message. So people say, I have understood, I have understood, I have understood. Because it is spoken in a language which you are able to. If they discourse, if I start giving in Sanskrit, then we have the WhatsApp group, the friends school WhatsApp group we have. So funny, huh? Suddenly the friends will switch into communicating in Sanskrit. 10, 11 sentences, it will be in Sanskrit. And I will also reply in Sanskrit. If I speak here, will you say, I understood? But in this classroom, you are saying, I understand, no? On what basis you say, I understand? Because you know the language. Knowing the language is not knowing the truth. Are you able to follow? So we should have the humility to say that what if I am not able to practice, it means I have not understood. Therefore, effort must be made to understand. And how do you understand anything? By repeatedly going over it again and again and again is the only way to understand. There is no other way to understand. That's why he keeps saying, keep listening to it again and again and again. There is no other way. You forgot how you learned. You forgot how you learned 2 plus 2 is 4. You forgot how you learned A, B, C, D, E. How did you learn A, B, C, D, E and all that? How did you learn 2 plus 2 equals 4? How did you learn that? Just by repeating it. Number 2, not knowing how you are going to use it in future. That's why you are able to learn it. Inga, you cannot bring that innocence here. You are not able to bring that innocence here. There you had that innocence. You are able to learn it fast. Why? Because you could never ask. You will never ask. What will I get out of this? You never asked. They said A, B, C, D. You also repeated A, B, C, D, E. They said 2 in the mind, 2 in the fingers. You also said 2 in the mind, 2 in the fingers. Subramaniam, ஞாபகம் இருக்கா அதெல்லாம்? When you are doing it, you are not. What made you to learn it so fast there? Because you never asked this question. What is the question? What will I get? You go to LKG and ask A, B, C, D, what will I get? Now, what the teacher can tell you? You can ask. You can ask the question. Some you can't ask the question. You can ask the question. But that question has no meaning. 99% of our questions have no meaning. But we also pretend as though it's a very meaningful question. And we also give an elaborate answer, knowing fully well that it has absolutely no meaning. Are you able to follow? Reflection is the method. Why reflection? But sir, is it not like a kind of brainwashing then? It is not like a kind of self-hypnotism? No. That's where logic, reason, analysis comes. The rigor of logic, the rigor of analysis. Are you able to see? Otherwise you can ask this question. Is it not like brainwashing oneself? Self-hypnotizing? No. it is not self-hypnotizing. Why? Because the rigor of logic, reason, and analysis. Even now, we did this analysis. What is the analysis? What words can reveal? We did that analysis. Now, what more you can do? What more logic and reason you need? Are you able to follow? What words can reveal? We did one analysis. This can only reveal that. So it has a limitation, and this is something beyond it. Therefore, words cannot reveal that. You cannot call it as self-hypnotizing. You cannot call it as brainwashing. Are you able to follow? Pointers to Brahman, Chandrashaka Nyaya. Nyaya itself means reasoning. Logic, reason, analysis. Tarka, Nyaya, Mimamsa. Mimamsa means analysis. Nyaya means reasoning. Tarka means logic. And in Tarka also we have Kutarka, Vitarka, Allah. Yeah. Even there we have, if you take the rigor of analytical methods they have gone into, there is no brainwashing here. And yet we don't develop conviction. Why? Because we want immediate result. We want, what is the immediate result we want? Dukkha nivritti. That's all. All that we are looking forward is what? I am in dukkha. Dukkha nivritti. And I tell you, such a futile exercise to free you from dukkha. At least I don't relieve anybody from their dukkha. That's why nobody likes me. Huh? Does anybody like me even in this classroom? I'm asking. I don't open. How can I ask? None of you are saying I like you, sir. Huh? You are also blankly staring at me. Anyway, I understand that. Why? Because I don't relieve anybody of their dukkha. Why I don't relieve anybody of their dukkha? You are such a PhD in creating next to dukkha. You are relieved of one dukkha. What you will go and do? You will create? You will create another dukkha. Dukkha nivritti is your focus. It's not ajnana nivritti. You don't want ajnana nivritti. You only want dukkha nivritti. அது துக்க நிவர்த்திக்கு எங்க போகணும்? Where should you go for dukkha nivritti? Where should you go for dukkha nivritti? Mistral bar க்கு போகணும். Yeah, because the bar removes you of dukkha, or something will bar. Ajnana nivritti. Here we are not talking about dukkha nivritti. Here we are talking about ajnana nivritti. And you say, sir, ajnana nivritti and all, let it come later. First, remove us of our pain. Okay, your pain is removed. What will you do? What will you do? You will come back with a greater complication. Huh? You will come back with a greater complication. You will come back with a greater complication. Why you do that? Because the problem is not dukkha, the problem is ajnana. And you think problem is dukkha. You think dukkha is the problem. I'm agitated, sir. I'm depressed, sir. I'm frustrated, sir. What should I do? If you can have a drink and go to sleep, have a drink and go to sleep. If you can't have a drink and go to sleep, pop in 2 pills and go to sleep. What else will relieve you of dukkha? I'll go to temple, sir. You will go to temple and then doubts will come whether that God will protect or not. Isn't it? You will go to a temple. As you are going to a temple and doing all that, simultaneously the doubt also will come. What is the doubt? Maybe if this God doesn't protect, I should have a backup plan. Go to some other God. Yeah, go to some other God. Because it's always better to take a second opinion, no, sir? Ignorance is Jnanam is something that is,
Equivalent.
yeah. It's always better to take second opinion, no? Therefore, it is always better to have secondary God also. In case if this God fails, this God will come and manana. You are not able to get convinced to do manana because ajnana nivritti. It's not dukkha nivritti. In life, we want freedom from dukkha. We don't want knowledge. Sir. You keep your knowledge. Who wants your knowledge? Or use your knowledge and relieve me of my dukkha. To that extent, use it. Rest of that and all, we don't. But how is it that these wise men are free from dukkha? How is it that the wise people are free from dukkha? Because they don't have ajnanam. And reflection helps in. Are you able to follow the sequence? Reflection. Reflection helps. How to explain this? The methodology that he uses is pointers to Brahman. Having understood this, he says, even this Vedantic knowledge is a pointer to Brahman. Don't get attached to it. Because from the beginning we are practicing detachment from Vedanta. Yeah. This paragraph is redundant for us. Because we never got attached in the first place, no, to say get detached. But nevertheless, he is saying what? Though the Vedantic knowledge provides all the knowledge necessary to reach your Godhead, its philosophy is meticulous. It takes you from your present state to the point of divinity, short of self-realization. You ought not to get involved in the knowledge also. The last paragraph. You ought not to get involved in the knowledge and hang on to it. Don't do that. Make use of it to transcend. That is a very important lesson. Some point why it is called pointers to Brahman. In one word, infinite cannot be confined to a word. Infinite cannot be confined to a group of words. That's simple as that. That which is infinite by nature cannot be confined to a group of words. Single word. Group of words become a book. Multiple books. But ultimately all boils down to words. When you are buying the book, what are you buying? When you are buying a book, what are you buying? Are you buying the paper? That's why it goes as waste, no? Newspaper goes as paper, isn't it? It's not news. Is it paper that you are buying? Is it the words in this that you are buying? Paper which contains some words. Not knowledge, not wisdom. How do you make? Without this, you cannot do that. At the same time, you can't get hooked on to this all the time. Therefore, what is the method? Understand the limitations of words. Understand the limitations of words and what words can convey. This is the topic. Pointers to Brahman. Venkatachalam, you had something.
I have a question. And it is a wonderful class today, and it was so good. You talked about the limitation of words. You also talked about the limitation of knowledge that is available through Shastras. And finally, it depends upon our capacity to do manana. So I have one question in this regard. This manana also requires a state of a developed fine intellect. Is a fine intellect develops with the manana, or is that a divine grace that we have, the fine intellect, the capacity of the intellect to go through the fine aspects? If that is so, it will come only as a grace blessing, without
Correct.
which we cannot pursue.
Correct. Venkatachalam. The divine grace is the external, sharp, subtle intellect in the form of the Guru. You don't have it. There is an external intellect that is doing it for you. That is the grace. That's why we call it as Guru's grace.
Oh, okay.
Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, this is what I learned from my masters. The Upanishadic master says, this is what I learned from my masters. Definitely it is the grace. Grace doesn't mean just blessings. Grace means the availability. Grace means availability. Whoever makes use of it, makes use of it. But grace means the availability. Are you able to follow? Since you use the word grace, I am elaborating that word grace. Grace means available. Grace means it is available in abundance. Grace means it is unconditionally available in abundance. That's grace. What is grace? Are you able to follow? What is grace? Grace means it is available. It is available in abundance. Not இவ்வளவுதான் சார்னா எனக்கு இவ்வளவுதான் இன்னைக்கு முடியும்னா it is available, but available in limited. And it is available, abundantly available, unconditionally. It means all that you got to do is what? In the initial stages, follow the reasoning of the external intellect till you develop your own intellect. And available is the grace. Just as, yeah. Zoomல ஆத்துல உட்கார்ந்துட்டே வருது இல்லையோ? Yeah, what a grace it is. எங்கேயோ போகுது. Yeah, what a grace it is. What an availability it is. Shankaracharyaku Zoom இருந்திருந்தா what would have happened? இல்லையா? Govinda Bhagavad Pada would have taught us Zoom classes between Govinda Bhagavad Pada and Shankara Bhagavad Pada. There will be a monitor recording it also, isn't it? The grace, it is available. It is available. It is abundantly available. Unconditionally, it is all that you got to do is what? You got to make use of the grace. How do you make use of the grace? In the initial stages, you follow the logic and reason of the external intellect till you are developed in your own reasoning analytical ability. That is called Shraddha. How you make use of the grace? Shraddha. What is Shraddha means? Shastra is the external intellect, correct? Are you able to follow? Shastra is an aid. It is like you have a fracture. When you have a fracture, you use a walker or you use a stick. It's an aid. Without that, you can never walk back again. But we understand what? I have to use it at the same time as I'm using the walker, I have to exercise also. Because the walker is very comfortable, I can't stop exercising. That's what people do, no? They fall, they have a fracture, you have a stick. Few years back, I had a fracture. I was using a stick. After the fourth day, fifth day, it was so comfortable. It was so comfortable that I thought, Abba, நடந்து muscles எல்லாம் exercise பண்ணி பெயின்ல என்னத்துக்கு? Simply use the. No, we will not do that. Correct? So, till you develop your intellect, you borrow the intellect extra, you borrow others' intellect. And even when you borrow, bank loan madri, you don't borrow. Yeah, you don't borrow like that. You follow the logic, the reason, the analysis, and you go over it again and again and again. Are you able to follow? Now I'll give you a tip. Don't try to be original now. Follow first. Don't try your original stunts and all now. Everybody wants to do that. Few months, few things, they all want to rephrase it. They want to bring their own stuff into it. As a result of which, what happens? as a result of which, what happens? You miss it. Are you able to follow? When you study law, you got to use the words that is used in. You can't use your own words. You have to use the word that is used in the book. You can digest it, understand it, and then you can do it. While you are in the process of understanding, what you should do? You have to follow the law. Are you able to follow? You can do your own things, provided you have developed sufficient, provided you have become sufficiently knowledgeable. And how do you know that you have sufficiently knowledgeable? What is the indication that you have developed sufficiently, that you have developed this knowledge sufficiently? What is the indication? What is the indication? Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya, Dvesha, all this has reduced. That is the indication. That is the indication that your knowledge is, I am doing this, but Dvesha is increasing. Na? Are you able to follow what I am saying, Venkatachalam? Therefore, while you are in the process of reflection, when you do PhD, you can come up with your own theorem. When you are studying 10th standard, you have to read what is in the book. You can't say, I will be. You can say, I want to be original, but you will never pass 10th class also. When you can do that, when you come to, it's extremely arrogant for that child to say, I will be original. At that point of time, the child has to faithfully follow what is in the text. Are you able to follow? That is how you develop your, that's how you develop your intellect. That's how you develop. Once it is sufficiently developed, you will bring your own original, you will bring your own originality to it. That will come naturally. That will come naturally. But don't try to do all that. All that you do is what? Follow the logic and reason and analysis as told. Following that, obeying that is called Shraddha. And this Shraddha helps you to strengthen your intellect. Divine grace is already there. Divine grace is already there. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna beautifully says, Arjuna, you have a reason to fight. Duryodhana has a reason to fight. Why do you think I am here? Are you able to follow? Krishna says, Arjuna, you have a reason to fight. Duryodhana has a reason to fight. Everybody in the battlefield Everybody in the battlefield has a reason to fight. What am I fighting for? Are you able to follow? Divine grace is already there. You need not do anything to, make sure that grace is there already, and it is available in abundance, unconditionally. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. It's there. So much is there. There is no endless reservoir of energy. That is, it's endless. How do I make use of it? I make use of it by following what is told first, and then once you develop sufficient knowledge, then you know what to do. And how do you know that your knowledge is, how do you know that you are grown in knowledge? These things will stop bothering you. What are the things that will bother? What are the things that will stop bothering you? Previously, you used to get angry all the time. Now you will get angry less. Intensity. You will feel like, yeah. If you can bite and crush your teeth, you will do that. You can't do that. No. Therefore, what you will do, the things will fly, isn't it? Anything that you can lay your hands on, it will fly. Thank God you are not so strong that you can lift to the other person. If you are so strong that you can lift to the other person also will fly. Like Kamsa did, no? Are you able to follow? The Dvesha will make you do all that. Thank God. Our muscles are not so strong. The frequency, the intensity. And then, even if you get it, you come out of it fast. It don't stay with you for months together. It don't stay with you for decades together. It doesn't stay with you. This is how you know that you are growing in knowledge and understanding. Your intellect is developing. It's a complete thing. Is it okay, Venkatachalam? Did I answer you? Yes. Where are you?
Mala has a question. She has posted it.
மாலவெல்லாம் பிளாக் பண்ணிடுங்க. We normally understand with conviction. Mala, are you there? Very good. உங்களெல்லாம் பிளாக் பண்ண மாட்டோம், சும்மா சொன்னேன்னா. We normally understand with conviction. However, there is something in us that makes us not follow. What is it? You are correct. Emotions, etc. Within brackets you put. Don't put it within brackets. Take the brackets away. What is it that makes you not follow? Your emotions. Emotions born out of raga dvesha. Emotions born out of raga dvesha. The power of the raga dvesha is so strong. You are taking the right medication, but see, medicines can be taken only in doses, no? The medication you are taking is right, but the intensity of the disease is so strong that the few doses that you took is not showing any visible change. But don't worry, even one dose you take, to that extent it comes down. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgati Tata gacchati. Little bit you take, it will not go. It will not go waste. What is it that is? What is it that is making us not follow? The intensity of the ragadvesha. And how do you overcome the intensity of ragadvesha? Knowledge, understanding, satsang, karma yoga, they're the methods. How do you get out of it? There are methods. Knowledge, understanding, satsang, satsangatve, nissangatvam, nissangatve, nirmohatvam, nirmohatve, nischalatatvam, nischalatatve, jivan muktihi, Bhajagovinda. How do you get out of that? He says that very clearly. All starts with good satsang. Satsangna bhajan இல்லையா? சத்சங்னா பஜன் கிளாஸ் இல்லை. ஏன்னா பஜன் கிளாஸ்ல பஜனை விட இன்னைக்கு என்ன பிரசாதம், ஹூஸ் பிரிங்கிங் வாட், இல்லையா? அதெல்லாம் தான் ஃபோக்கஸ். You understand, prasad is not an object. You understand that, no? Prasad is not an object. Prasad is the attitude that you have towards the object. That's why they keep the children's name as Prasad. Can't stand that name, no? Rajini. Can you stand that name, Prasad? Her husband's name is Prasad. Is there any other example, Guru sir? Why are you can't stand that name? Poor thing. She never told me that. Huh? I'm just saying it. Poor thing. இங்கே ஒருத்தர் இருக்கிறாரு, R.D. Prasad, bullet man. Prasad என்ன அர்த்தம்? Instead of saying my child, it's saying this child has come to me as a gift from God. That's what it means. So prasad is not an object. Prasad means the attitude that you have towards that object. So what is satsang? Shankar. கோயிலில் கொடுக்குற சுண்டல் இல்லை, இல்லையா? It's not the sundal, இல்லையா? It's not the salad that they give in the temple as, இல்லையா? இப்போ இல்லையா சாலட்னா we feel very odd, சுண்டல்னா we look very divine, no? ரெண்டும் ஒன்று தான், இல்லையா? It's a salad only. Yeah. சுண்டல்னு போட்டால் யாருக்கும் புரியாது, isn't it? Salad. But then it turns into, it's not the, so what is satsang? Satsang is where everyone has a collective attitude. What is a collective attitude? It is prasad. Prasad is not an object. Prasad is the attitude you have towards the object. Laddu you can get in Krishna sweets. Laddu you can get in Tirupati Balaji temple also. Both are laddus only. Both will increase your diabetes, correct? If you are diabetic, both will increase your diabetes. You can't say the laddu from Balaji temple will eliminate my diabetes and laddu from Krishna sweets will increase my diabetes. No, laddu will increase diabetes. Doesn't matter, correct? Yes or no? Why Mark? Yes, we are scared, you know. You are heavily okay. Vijay, are you diabetic? No, okay. அவர் கொஞ்சம் unmute பண்ணுங்க. Okay. If you are, if a heavily diabetic person has one full Tirupati laddu as prasad, what will happen to him? What will happen to that person, Vijay?
அவ்வளவுதான் ஆச்சாரியா.
Huh?
டயபெட்டிக் பர்சன் லட்டு சாப்பிட்டாருன்னா அவருக்கு ஷூட் அப் ஆயிடும் வச்சு.
பிரசாத் சாப்பிட்டா கூடவா?
attitude that.
Correct. With the attitude you receive the laddu and the eyes will eat the laddu but not the tongue. Eyes will eat it. Eyes will say no. Tongue will say what is? You need to know. This is how you get rid of ragadvesha. We're able to, yeah, otherwise we are so, otherwise we are so confused. Therefore, what is it that makes us not follow it? Raga Dvesha. Is it okay, Mala, the first one? Is it okay, the first one? Yes. Long back, I used to think about this when our family deity is that Shasta temple, Sabrimala temple. So we have to go every year. I used to go. Now, after coming to Vedanta, I'm not devotional at all, so I stopped going. I become irreligious now. So we used to have that every year. We used to have that puja, and we used to be invited, and and the sweet pongal they give, the sweet rice they give. Oh my God. What will happen to the I used to think, what will happen to the diabetic father who's eating that? It will, it will shoot up only. You can't ask, oh Ayyappa, I trusted you. Out of love, I'm eating your, out of devotion, I'm eating your sweet rice. Isn't it your duty to make sure that my diabetes is under control? Because I'm eating it as prasad? What will God say? God will say, you have an intellect. I gave you an intellect to understand the difference. What is that? What is the difference? Are you able to follow? Otherwise, you are emotional. Otherwise, you are just getting emotional. And this getting emotional is the problem. And this turning emotional is the problem. What is it? Emotions. Emotions that is born out of likes and dislikes. Our desires to change the situation around us, anger that it is not changing, correct? Arrogance, unsteady mind, etc. Too can stop us from following the Brahma Tattva, correct? The Ragadvesha. It is the Ragadvesha. You want to change, you are not able to change, and you are angry because you are not able to change. Now you are not able to change. Why are you getting angry at the other that the other is not changing? This is what intellect does. The intellect asks you this question. If you are not able to do it, how can you expect the other to do? Are you able to do that? If you can't do it, what right you have to expect the other to do it? This is answering Mala's clarification. Venkat, avladana? Yeah. With this, we conclude for today. Next topic, some indicative definitions. We start. Clear?